talking about 6 seconds from the time that officer got out of his vehicle until he shot and killed that armed suspect. So I want to have you take a look at some of this video as I explain to you what Chief Fiji broke down for us today. So she said this all started with a stolen Kia out of Edgewood, Kentucky that was spotted at the complex on Warsaw Avenue. When officers arrived, they saw 4 suspects take off running. Fiji said officers took different suspects to follow. One suspect was armed with a gun, and at one point, with officers saying he did hit the ground and that gun hit the ground. That person then ran between the dumpsters, and officers yelled out that that person had a gun. Another officer who was chasing another person at the time came in contact with that armed suspect, and that's when that officer fired off 4 to 5 shots. That man was hit twice and then was given medical care right away, but he did die.
Now, this man that they're talking about that was in a vehicle with, I believe, 4 other brothers, this is Ryan Hinton. Okay, Ryan Hinton. Now, what they're saying is that he ran out the vehicle. All the suspects ran different ways. Police is one of them chasing him. He drops the weapon. It tells you that he drops the weapon. It shows you the picture of the weapon and the clip. He runs behind the trash can, and he's behind the trash can, and he stands up, and they unload on him. Another version I heard from the police, by the police, is that the police officer that's chasing him tells another police officer he has a gun, and that police officer is the one that shot him. Now, the cold part about this story is that after the family viewed the footage, 2 hours later, the father, 2 hours after the family viewed the footage, the father, Rodney Hinton Jr., he's at a stoplight and he just smashes the gas and fatally hits a peace officer that is directing traffic. So this brother is just seeing the footage of his son, his 18-year-old son, being unalived by the police. And you can imagine the emotions that he is going through, and he's sitting there and he smashes on the gas and he goes and kills a peace officer. From me looking at what's going on, it doesn't look like things are adding up, as far as the officer said that he felt threatened for his life. He felt threatened for his life. They said this whole ordeal was just 6 seconds. So from him running behind dropping everything, running behind the garbage dumpster, and then being fired upon, that was just 6 seconds. And the officer said it looked like he raised a gun at me. I feared for my life. I'm gonna get more into that as we go on, but I want to get to when the father comes in to be arraigned.
So the court will now set no bond until Tuesday, when we'll review the statute for continuing no bond under these unusual and very tragic and terrible circumstances. Where will the defendant be housed, and will he be safe? And I ask that because he was transferred, as I understand it, to Clermont County yesterday.
That's correct.
On my order.
That's correct.
And will he be returned to Clermont County until Tuesday?
It's our understanding he will be returned to Clermont.
And you have a safe environment for him there in Clermont County?
Yes, sir.
You'll return him on Tuesday, May the 6th at 8:30 a.m. for a hearing at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, for the record, we'd ask the court to put a bond on him now, but we understand that it's not a bond hearing request.
All right, no bond.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we can hold him at no bond for 72 hours, is that right?
Yes, correct.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much.
Now you see, he was chomping. He was saying something to some of those officers. And I want to point out this comment by Shalat. Shout out to Shalat. Why are there so many police at this hearing? There's so many police at this hearing, Shalat, because they want to send a message of intimidation. And on the outside, from their perspective, they'll say this. They'll say that they're just supporting their fellow comrade that fell at the hands of this man. But it does beg the question, why are there so many of them there? I mean, were black people allowed to be in the courtroom and stand around like that in an intimidation fashion when those officers that were arraigned for the murder of Robert Brooks in that prison, were black people allowed to stand around like that? Nah. You know what I'm saying? Now, I want people to be clear. I want you to be clear what my perspective is. This is a very, very unfortunate situation. His son, if you go and look at the pictures, his son is a mini-me of him. They look exactly alike. His son was 18. He played sports. But his son also was with the wrong crowd, hanging around the wrong people. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, his son was hanging around the wrong people. They were in a stolen Kia. And what, I don't want to seem insensitive, but as black fathers, we have to instill in our sons, especially our sons, what we are dealing with when we're dealing with law enforcement. Let's just scratch the fact that he was in a car, he had a gun, he was in the car, the vehicle in a stolen vehicle, and he was running away. Let's just scratch that. Let's think about how we teach our sons how to deal with law enforcement and who they are dealing with. You understand? You have to know who you're dealing with. These people are itching to unalive you. They are itching to take your life. So don't make it easy for them. You get what I'm saying? Don't make it easy for them. And I feel for this father, because without the tools and the knowledge of the truth and how to conduct yourself and understanding that taking the life of an officer is not going to bring my son's life back. I wish he had that knowledge. You know what I mean? I wish he could still be on the outside and stand strong for his family instead of being locked up. Now, they done made a GoFundMe for him. I think their goal is $50,000, for his defense. But clearly, this is a case where his emotions, his love for his son made him snap. He's never been in trouble, married, a father. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have a history of, any criminality, but snap. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if this is his only son, but this is his baby boy, and he went and unalived the officer. It wasn't the same officer. A lot of outlets and content creators are putting up the titles as though it's the same officer that killed his son. They're not releasing the name of the officer that killed his son. So that's false. If you're thinking that he killed, it would sound like a riveting, good story, but that's not the case. This is a whole nother officer. Now, if it was that officer that killed his son, I'd be like, I don't agree with it. I wouldn't do it, but I understand. I totally understand. You know what I'm saying? And you see a lot of people responding to this saying, yeah, it's an eye for an eye. Yeah, that was an eye for it. That's what's up. Like he deserved it. Shout out to that father. But that's not going to bring his son back. That's not going to bring his son back. That pain ain't going to never go away. You get what I'm saying? And so this is just an unfortunate story. I hate to see it. You see different things in there. Like I said, how they said he was a man at 18, but old boy that did the prank call, he was 21. They didn't call him a man. You also see how they came in and tried to intimidate him, and they're angry because of their comrade that's fallen, but he's angry too. You know what I mean? And possibly not even in his right state of mind right now. You got to think he ain't even had a chance to grieve before he went and did that.